A link down below to credit the person I got the information from, and so that you can also read this on your own. Outriders developers People Can Fly and publisher Square Enix have laid out plans that can potentially restore players' inventory with assurance that items restored will possess God rule values. A patch released recently was only the beginning for the developers' long haul of further updates and fixes with priorities into completing the restoration process of the inventories. According to a new Reddit post, items restored will have the same attribute combination but with God rule values, meaning that items that will be at least the same, if not better quality than the originally lost items. So, Outriders inventory restoration plans, developers have classified the players into groups depending on the experience. Group A, unplayable characters with an invalid inventory. These characters lost gear and were no longer playable. They couldn't connect to the server, error when logging in. Most affected players will be in this group. Group B, characters that do not have an invalid inventory but who lost the gear. These characters lost gear but were still playable. Players may have continued playing on these characters since the wipe. These cases are far more difficult to conclusively identify en masse, but are fewer in number. And in Group C, players that do not have an invalid inventory and who have not lost gear. These are essentially all other players in the Outriders gaming population who did not encounter an inventory wipe. My ability to speak just about got wiped there. This is important to note as we want to ensure that our restoration efforts do not inadvertently impact them as well. And it's important that we are unable to conclusively distinguish Group B from C players, which is why our approach to each group is a little different. Group A restoration. All items, regardless of rarity, that were equipped at the time of your inventory wipe will be restored. Please see the further details section for more information here. All legendary items there were in your inventory. Please see for the details again. For non-legendary items, 20 previously acquired items that were in your inventory, with first prioritization based on rarity descending from epic rarity, and second prioritization based on the date acquired. Now, please see for the details again for more info. All fully completed accolades will be restored if you previously reached the final tier of said accolade. Interim tiers and progress towards any tier of an accolade cannot be recovered. Group B restoration, up to 20 legendary items there were in your inventory. Should be that were in your inventory. Please see further details again in the section. All fully completed accolades will be restored. Interim tiers and progress towards any tier of an accolade cannot be recovered. Group C restoration, no restoration is required. Further details, Group A, the rules we are using to identify most but not all inventory wipe cases are as follows. Our database can conclusively tell us whether a player has an invalid inventory by simply checking whether they have an item in all equipment slots. After the first equip to such a slot, this slot cannot ever be empty, since it is impossible to sell or dismantle an equipped item. Oh, okay, that's true. Any characters whose equipment slots are entirely empty therefore must have an invalid inventory and should be restored. To fix an invalid inventory, we need to restore items to all equipped slots, and our analytics can inform us which items the player previously had equipped. Well, that's good. Additionally, because we can conclusively identify these characters as having been wiped, we can grant all previously acquired legendary items back without any worry. Our analytics can inform us which legendaries the player previously acquired. And additionally, because we can conclusively identify these characters as having been wiped, we can grant them a total of 20 previously acquired items that were in their inventory, with their prioritization based on rarity, descending from epic rarity, and second prioritization based on the date acquired. Our analytics can inform us which items the player previously acquired. Group B, the rules we are using to identify these smaller number of inventory wipe cases are by identifying lost items as follows. Analytics tell us that a player acquired an item. Analytics also tell us whether that item was dismantled. If it was not dismantled, we check the database to see whether the item is still in the player's inventory. If it's no longer present and was a legendary item, we will assume that it was lost to an inventory wipe, as legendaries will most often be scrapped. However, while our analytics are proving extremely helpful, they do not track every single interaction with an item. This means that the steps used to identify lost items for Group B, in fact, may also identify all no longer present gear regardless of rarity from players in Group C, which is the rest of the population. This is why we're limiting the Group B restoration just to legendary items. Legendary items are rarer and most likely to be dismantled. Any player who has previously had but did not dismantle a legendary item will have them restored even if the character did not encounter an inventory wipe. So that was in Group C. You can immediately sell the item if you choose to do so. In order not to impact Group C, each character not in a Group A will therefore only have a maximum of 20 legendaries restored. And in order not to impact Group C, each character not in Group A will therefore not have the 20 previously acquired items restored. Note that the data needed for this operation has already been collected. Please do not attempt to exploit the process as you will only end up losing your items. Almost done. The exact date for the full restoration of players' inventory has not been released, but developers have assured the public that it is their top most priority, as it should be. We want to ensure that there are no instances where a restoration could have a continued significant negative effect on individuals or the population as a whole. Extra details: items will be granted back in order of importance to the character's equipment slots, followed by their inventory. Finally, we will have measures in place to prevent items from full inventories or full stashes being discarded or not restored. However, we would still recommend ensuring that there is enough space in your character stash or alt characters should you be expecting a lot of items to be restored. Meanwhile, as more patches are to come, Outriders is also working on including Stadia in one of their platforms, with a patch coming April 6th to address pre-order issues. Oh, yeah, that was a long time ago. Anyhow, if you liked the video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. It greatly helps support the channel with the algorithm. If you didn't like it, go ahead, give it a thumbs down. I'll break it off in your ass, and I'll make sure that every item that's restored to you comes in my inventory, even though I only have the demo of the game. And if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. If not, whatever. Thanks for stopping by. Take care, and maybe I'll see some of you, rather, in the next video. Bye for now.